So once you are ready to start your final artwork after you've practiced in your journal and you have a plan of what you're going to do, we are going to be creating our final projects. We're going to be using this green paper as our background. And you should have chosen if you're doing a cityscape, a landscape, or a seascape. So I am going to create a landscape, and I am going to remember that we have a foreground, middle ground, and background. So I need to have some objects that appear close to me and some objects that appear to be further away. So I'm going to start with something in the foreground. Real simple. I do want to keep kind of bigger, bolder images. Not something too small since we are using oil pastels. It'll be just a little bit easier for you to focus on it that way. So I've got a hill here. I think I'm going to do a hill that's a little bit further back like that. And then I'm going to think about maybe some trees back here. And again, I'm going to keep kind of my image nice and big and bold so that I have room to use my oil pastels. I also think that I want to fill my sky with something, and I think I'm going to do kind of an unrealistic sun. So I'll show you what I'm thinking for mine. It could be a night sky, it could be totally unrealistic, it could be more realistic. If you're doing something like seascapes, you might be adding waves, you might be adding boats, you might have land closer to you. So you kind of have to decide what you want to do. This is a landscape, so I could put like, if I wanted to, maybe I have a river running from the hills back here and coming towards me, so it will get bigger as it gets closer to me. This is going to be my sun, and like I said, I'm going to do it totally unrealistic. So I'm going to go ahead and stretch these sun rays out across the landscape, because I think it'll look more interesting to have a nice, bright, fun sky. If I hit something like the tree, I'm going to stop and jump it, but I want to come out the other side and continue that same line. If a ruler helps, I would use a ruler. Okay, so there's my design. Then I'm going to get ready with my oil pastels, and you can add a lot more details than that if you want. Just remember that you're using oil pastels and that they're kind of big chunky ones. All right, I'm going to start with my river here. So I am going to start adding my oil pastel. And I only have this one shade of blue, but that doesn't mean I'm limited to only this one shade of blue. I could come in and start to add that first color. And I want to kind of give it the feeling of movement, so I'm adding kind of curving lines that go with the curving edge. And a river doesn't technically just have to look blue, so I'm going to go ahead and add some green kind of streaked through it and kind of play with layering the two. With oil pastels, it's a lot about layering. So I'm just going to add the two colors, and then I think I'm going to try out my white to blend the two together. Maybe even add a little more blue back into it. If your oil pastels get dirty, because they will, you can use a paper towel or tissue to wipe them off. So I want to blend these in a bit, so I'm going to go ahead and use the white and just start to kind of color in over those colors that I already put on there. And I can always go back in and layer more color if I want it to be something brighter. And as you're working through this, definitely make sure that you're getting the paper covered, that it looks smooth. The oil pastel should look smooth when you finish adding the layers. And I'm going to add some blue back into there. And try not to brush off the extras with your hand. I would just tap them and then get it off your desk. And then I'm just going to keep moving forward. So what I would do in the sky is I would probably go with warm colors. And I probably am going to do some kind of pattern with the reds, oranges, and yellows. Outlining first would be helpful to you so that you can make sure you're staying within your area. And And then I'm going to do just like I did with the water, where I'm going to start to layer in my colors. And I'm going to play with the 3 warm colors here. By the time you finish, there should be no paper showing from the background. So this is green paper, so there should be no green paper showing through. The entire paper should be filled with the colors of the oil pastels. And I am going to play with the idea of outlining everything in black at the end, but you certainly do not have to. It might just clean some things up. So I'm going to put this into kind of a super speed so you can kind of see it going, working its way through from this point to the end. The yellow would be your other color that you could use in here. And the yellow, just like the white did with the blue, it kind of just pulls everything together, and you can always layer more of the darker colors on top if you want to. And the yellow should cover nicely with the green as well, but I would probably streak some other colors through there as well. See how it's pulling some pieces? It's okay, because we're going to streak some stuff through there anyway. Just work on each little area where stuff is showing through. All right, I'm going to go ahead and put it into fast speed.